Good morning, David and everyone. This is Dynamic Healing Moments with David and Les. David, good morning, sir.
Morning, Les. How you doing?
Outstanding, outstanding. So what do we have to inspire folks today or to discuss?
Well, this is a really challenging topic because, I did well. I had a great career, went to high-level spine fellowship, and everything in life was good, right?
Right.
At the peak of my success, I was miserable. I was ridden with anxiety. I had obsessive compulsive disorder. I had multiple physical symptoms. My marriage fell apart. All sorts of things happened. So that didn't feel like success to me. I achieved everything I wanted. It didn't feel like success to me. And I was in Sun Valley at the time. And in a span of 18 months, there were 6 males between ages 45 and 60 that committed suicide.
Wow.
Every one of them successful families, wealthy, beautiful life, and they killed themselves. 6 people in 18 months. It was unbelievable. Then in my world, I have 20 medical colleagues, including myself being almost 21, that committed suicide. And a lot of them were close friends. So, you go through medical school, you have the money, the prestige, everything you ever wanted, and people are killing themselves. So I don't exactly call that success. So my question to you, Les, is why does this happen? If I've done everything on the surface to achieve success and I feel like killing myself, that doesn't seem like success to me.
Yeah, it doesn't, and that's the destructive part, right? So it's very often we can achieve accolades and maybe even get plastic surgery and wear fancy clothes and fancy cars, have fancy degrees. It doesn't really change anything about what's inside of us. And plastic surgeons talk about this. You can change the outside, but if the inside doesn't change, there's what we call in psychology cognitive dissonance, what someone thinks and feels as an incongruence. But to bring it back to what you said is that one of the reasons why that tends to happen, and we don't have to go to the extreme of that suicide, but a lot of people just don't feel good enough because there's a part of us, perhaps we'll call it the child inside of us, that does not feel heard and listened to, or doesn't just feel good enough. That's the story that tends to play. And so what we do is we tend to judge people. We tend to get these fancy things. We try to be above the rest and to compensate because there's something inside that's so hurtful.
Well, let's just go down to the term, the self-critical voice, because I think, I came from an abusive background, but I was the one of 4 children who was put up on a pedestal. In other words, I was expected to achieve, which is, I wouldn't call it abusive in a way. There's the abuse part of it, but there's also this endless expectation to perform is a bit of a problem. So no matter how well you perform, of course, parents tend to do this, you're not good enough.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, that's exactly, you nailed it right there. You nailed it, something very important, that what you just mentioned in the introduction here is that many of your colleagues, friends, people in general, our audience, is we keep trying to achieve more, do more, and all the while there's something inside that needs to be addressed that has not been given a voice to, or to be released from the burdens that were actually given to us. You were kind of, it was spoken, maybe unspoken, to be, you've got to be up here. And so, because to be, why? So the big question is why?
Right.
The simple response I can tell my patients, and I've experienced for myself, is so we are lovable, so that we're loved. And so people like us. So sometimes we overcompensate. And this ties in very nicely with chronic pain and chronic medical conditions, David, or just even mental health stuff, where sometimes when we cannot do because we're more depressed or more in pain, we feel shitty on the inside. We don't feel good enough. And then the conflict begins and the numbing begins and trying to find a cure for for this cause called chronic pain. So, yeah.
Well, we're both learning that anxiety is inflammation, right? Your body's inflamed, your brain's inflamed, you're sensitized. And when I went through my chronic pain scenario for 15 years, the worst part of it was the anxiety. And we use the term activated nervous system. And that was by far and away the worst part of it. The mental pain was way worse than any physical pain I had, way worse. And I couldn't escape it. And I did have a sense, and the problem is no matter how, quote, successful you are, you cannot outrun your mind.
Yeah.
We see all these wealthy people, superstars, watch them self-destruct. And so we sort of intellectually know that wealth, fame, fortune is not going to solve the problem. My situation, I didn't achieve that degree of wealth and fame, but I was good. I had it all.
Yeah.
I had it all. And is there a real sense of desperation? Is that I had everything on paper that I needed to do to be happy, and I was more miserable than I had ever
Yeah.
been.
And that's the message is sometimes, we don't feel good enough. And that's where basically the kid and caboodle is here, is to be able to address that is sometimes you are good enough the way you are. Because I think the pinnacle of your conversation here, is you can achieve lots of great things, but the greatest achievement is, can you find yourself lovable as you are? Good, bad, ugly, doesn't quite matter. I tell my patients this, David, and hopefully the audience can maybe appreciate this, is when you love the good and bad in you both, whether stuff that you like and stuff like, why did I say that? Why did I do that? How come I cannot do that? When you can love the good and bad in you, it's easier to love the good and bad in others.
Right. So, Dr. Arya, can you fix me?
We don't fix, we heal the child.
No, I want to be fixed, darn it.
Yeah, David, this is not surgery. Someone in the audience tell him that.
Right.
So David, one of the things I wanted to mention before I forget is, do you mind if I mention a book that I think I've recommended to my patients, and you probably heard of this author, Charles Whitfield. Charles Whitfield is a psychiatrist. I think he lives in Atlanta, Georgia, but he wrote a great book that's an oldie but goodie. I'm pretty confident the audience would have heard about it, may not have picked it up, but I highly encourage you to do this work. Kind of like what David just started us off. And do we sometimes feel not good enough? And do you know how to work with it? So it's called Healing the Child Within, Healing the Child Within by Charles Whitfield. Highly recommended. Why? He basically says, here are 14 to 15 core issues, and most of them are things that we were told and given. So we take on these burdens, and then we try to find a way to be lovable and be beyond good enough. And he walks you through how to actually heal, not fix those parts, relate to them differently.
You're killing me. Okay, I want to have a good day today. So fix me right now. I need to be fixed. What's my tool for the day?
Your tool for the day is that, David, I want you to say this to yourself, 3 things,
Okay.
that you're lovable, and loving.
Okay.
There you go.
What are those
I want you
again?
to have fun.
That's a lot of words. What was the first one?
Just love.
Okay.
Just love yourself, David, for who you are.
Darn it. That's discouraging.
Come on. We're supposed to inspire the audience.
So love, lovable, and to love. Is that what you just said?
That you are love, you are lovable, and you're loving.
Loving. Got it.
Speak to that child because they need a healthy parent like you.
Well, and that's interesting, because we also talk about things like not discussing your pain, etc. So this actually not positive thinking is part of a positive vision. So you just start reframing your life of gratitude, curiosity, love, awareness. So those are things that move your brain this way. That's a lot different than sort of positive thinking or reassuring yourself. It's a big difference.
Yep.
So, okay, well, thank you for this. And so I'm fixed. Is this a mitzvah, or are you going to charge me?
Oh my goodness. David, it's because you're lovable. That's why it's free today.
All right, I get it free today. All right. So anyway, this is Dynamic Healing Moments with Les and David. And the reason why it's dynamic healing, because it is dynamic. Some minutes you love yourself, some minutes you hate yourself. That's just the way it is. There's no end point and fixed point. Life comes at you every second. So enjoy your day with some thoughts of the day. And you can access Dr. Les Arya at remedypain.co. Am I getting that right now?
Yep.
And where can you access me? See if you remember this.
The docjourney.com.
Okay.
Which is a great program. I highly recommend everyone. And David's books, please, of course. You really do a great job with that. So, and thanks to you, my patients are getting better. So
likewise. Les, thank you. Have a great day. All right. Have a good one.
Hey, everyone. Bye.